Welcome to the reflections on this book, An Artist of the Floating World. This is a KCSE set book, as I have already indicated. Now, this An Artist of the Floating World, it is a post-war text. It is based in Japan after the Second World War. The Second World War ended in 1945. Now, the post-war time, that is when this book, that is the setting of the book. The author is Kazuo Ishiguro. That is the author of the book. Now, the main character here, is called Masuji Ono, and he doubles up also as the narrator. He's the one giving us the story. This is the story of his life. This main character was an artist. That is why the book is An Artist of the Floating World. He was an artist. He became an artist of the floating world after being trained by another now artist of the floating world par excellence, that is called Morisan or Seiji Moriyama. That was the trainer, the one who trained now the main character and the narrator, Masuji Ono, to become an artist. Now, this book, I've said it is a post-war text. So, they are reflections of life before the war, life after the war, and of course the experiences of the war. And we are following just one character and his family and their experiences. Okay, the book is divided into 4 parts. It doesn't have chapters, but it is divided into 4 parts. The first part is October 1948. That is how it is titled. And this is the longest part in the book. This part, the October 1948, it's the first part, introduces us to the book, to the issues in the book, and it introduces us to the character. It introduces us to the family of Ono. It gives him a position in the society. Who is he? Who are his family? Who are his family members? He is introduced with his 2 daughters. He has 2 daughters. The older one is called Setsuko and the younger one is called Noriko. And then this Setsuko is married to a man by the name Suichi, and they have a son called Ichiro. Now, that is the family of Ono. We are also introduced to an important topic that will carry us through the book, that is marriage negotiations, the centrality of marriage negotiations, and the importance of the family status in terms of marriage negotiations. Like, your family determines you getting a suitor or not getting a suitor. But the marriage negotiation revolve around the younger daughter called Noriko. That is the first part. When we come to the second part, that is April 1949, in this part now, we encounter the marriage negotiations have taken place. There is an important meal that settles a marriage negotiation that is called the Miai. It takes place here now. That is now for this younger daughter called Noriko. That is 1949. The marriage negotiation happened. That is November 1949. Sorry, not November, but April 1949. Then after that, we have November 1949. That is the second part. In this November 1949, it is now on remembering his life. He ponders on what has happened over the marriage negotiations, all of it, the whole of November 1949. Then after, and it is also quite elaborate. It is also a long part, so to say, because it contains a lot of reflection even on his training, the teacher's influence on their lives, all that. Then from there we go to the last part, that is June 1950. This part we can call it the resignation, the resigning, the acceptance, a point at which now the older generation have to accept that the life they lived, they did their best. They are the ones who made Japan to go to war. They promoted war in Japan, but now they have to accept things happened. Japan was defeated in the war. They are now being ruled by the Allied forces, specifically Americans. They have to accept. That is, the old have to accept and resign themselves to the way things are at the present. The old here are represented by Masuji Ono, the main character, his friend Matsuda, and then also another woman who runs a bar that is called Mrs. Kawakami in the book. But the last part, 1950, it mainly majors on these two men, two friends, 2 old men, Masuji Ono and Matsuda. Yes, thank you. We will continue to look at each of the parts and give more details. Thank you.